on this computer. Beautiful. And we're going. As always, guys, any questions, just fling them in the chat or turn your mics on and ask away, and I'll do my very best to answer whatever I can. Until you guys think of any questions, I will just go over oil for George posted in the chat earlier. So I figured I'd just take a bit of a look while I'm on the session, so and you can watch it back another time. So on, I'll show the daily, bit clean, easier to see. So I've got this trend line here. So obviously 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches. So people's stop losses will be under this line basically. Obviously they'll be expecting a 4 touch and then a buy up because every touch has given a decent push up. And then obviously price takes them all out. Possibly, obviously, we say manipulation takes people's stop losses, and then goes the way that it sort of wants to do. So it's the same thing happens over and over again. So this is my main system. I'm not really trading it as much at the minute because just time constraints, but I'll get back to it at some point. But so this becomes my 4 hour point of interest anyway. I always work it from the 4 hour ish, give or take, as my point of interest. So as you can see, it's marked from this low here that takes the liquidity, and then it goes to the imbalance, which will be here on the 4 hour. Well, I believe anyway. Yeah, 4 hour imbalance. Zoom in so you can see. Imbalance in here, so wick low to the imbalance. That's pretty much how I work all of my zones, whether it's 4 hour, 15, 1 minute, 10 second. It is, yeah. The theory is that from this low up until this imbalance is created, like the first imbalance, something in here is where an order takes place to then cause a break of structure. So above here is up here. So this is the start of the move up there. Obviously it comes back. So generally I'd be looking for a 15-minute break once it retouches, which it does sort of above here, but then it comes and takes it out. So I would restart the 15-minute move again, which it does. Tricky, super tricky one, this one. So George edges 15-minute structures at all of these. I'm not convinced by that. I think I marked the 15-minute up here. This is all, as you can see, this is as a channel. That's channel. Just turn off my magnet. You can sort of see that that's just a channel of price action. Oh, yeah, something like that. So because these are like major pullbacks, so me personally, I would play on the safe side and go for the overall high of the range overall. It might be the wrong decision, but if we're on the side of caution, then Leon will be happy, I guess. But anyway, so obviously it makes a low and then eventually breaks the high up here. I believe as well, I think I deleted it since by accident, but on the 4 hour point of interest, there is an imbalance fill, pretty much that this fills perfectly. But I'm not getting into it because it's too far back. It'll take me ages to find. So obviously breaks above here. Yeah, and then the idea is that the zone is from the wick low again up until the creation of the imbalance here. So obviously that is based on the fact that from the point that it breaks structure, so from once this candle here does that, that's where I'm looking for my first imbalance. So all this along here is irrelevant because it's all filled by this because it still hasn't broken structure at this point. I do think it's possibly played out from maybe Friday. I didn't have it marked or anything, so and I think it's possibly played out because if we drop to this, so on here we've got what looks like a couple of imbalances. So I'll drop to the seconds chart in a few seconds, but I mean these look like real big pushes. It's sort of like lose it a bit here, but once we drop to the seconds charts, we start to see that this becomes a bit of a crappy imbalance, and then this one becomes the actual possibly where my zone should have been marked to. Just show you a bit lower. 5 no good, 10 might be better. And then it sort of switches around again. On the 15 looks good anyway. So yeah, this decent push here. So maybe thinking that the orange box should have been marked up to here. I don't think it needs to be higher than that. Obviously, I'm just trying to catch a decent imbalance on the 15, but I need it to be in the zone to catch it. And obviously, as we see, so I'll just scroll back so you can see it. So this top imbalance here, can you see that on your screen, guys? Because it looks a bit crappy on mine. But this orange line here, that's the top imbalance we were just talking about. So obviously we see it fills this imbalance here pretty much perfectly. Fills the imbalance here, and then does does a 1 minute change of character breaker structure, which would have been this wick here. High here, possibly. We'll just do 1 minute. And then obviously after this point where it closes above would be search for an entry. So if I drop down again, obviously it don't think anything stands out on the minute. Yeah, nothing really majorly looking on the minute. Obviously this 1 minute candle, it don't look like there's imbalance in here, but obviously it's a big candle, so you'd maybe spot on the 1 minute, but it'd be very difficult. So if we drop down to the 15-second again, obviously the lower zone looks nice there. But I think if we drop again, it looks even better on the higher zone. Yeah, so we've got this big push up here. This looks all right still, but this is possibly the one that leads on to the breaker structure up here. So if I extend this line, obviously this is the high. There's a good case that this order block here is the start of this continuous leg because you got a bit of a pullback here, whereas this don't really. I won't class it as a pullback. Don't break it. Don't break this candle. This one breaks this candle. So pullback here, big impulse causes a break, and then as we see from here, obviously it taps that higher zone perfectly. It was late on Friday though, so who knows? I wouldn't have took it that late. I don't think. I mean, I'd have been switched off anyway from the charts. I mean, that's like a 2, 3. I don't even know what that is. 3 summer points pips. I don't even know what spread is on. Can't remember what spread is on oil. But would assume something like that would be more than cover it. Just shy of a 1 to 4, maybe on Friday. But it might still come further down for these imbalances. They're not as good as the previous ones, I don't think. From what I can see, that one's the best. It sort of lines through with this as well. So this zone here, obviously, this consolidation side movement sort of area, and then we get a bang, big manipulation. So this is possibly where the manipulation comes from. Big sell order to take this trend line here, and then obviously we start to buy up. So bang, bang. This might have something to do with why it sold off from, started to buy up from that sort of zone. But yeah, possibly moves possibly gone. I'll just double check these other imbalances just to sort of show you what I'm looking at. Or is someone having issues getting in? Did I just see? Sorry, bear with me a sec, guys. So I'll let them deal with it. So yeah, back to these imbalances anyway. Obviously, I know not all of you guys have got the seconds, but I mean, if you get them or not, obviously it's up to you guys. I don't push it as such, but obviously this candle on the 15 seconds is a big candle. Not the best, but it looks better on the 10 seconds, so it might come down for that. Possibly something from here, maybe. And then we get real low across. But like I say, I think it might buy up. We should join it. Let's figure it out. And then we get to this one that I've got marked as well down here. But again, I don't think it will come this far down. But there is a nice little candle there. Not the best, but we mark them, and if we get what we want, I'll take the trade. Like I said, I think it's played out. So that's oil anyway. Structure wise, it's oh, I'll look back. Structure wise, I think it's in a difficult position as well. So if we go, we have possibly got maybe that. Maybe that or something along the lines. But we've also got, because we've had a break above here as well, only on the 15-minute though. So we might have obviously had this breaker structure here now. So in theory, breaker structure there, we could start to see something like that as well, which it might play out. Obviously, we'll have to see when more candles are printed and things and go from there. Obviously, we can only trade what's in front of us. I don't particularly see much in the way of the downside as targets. Obviously, this trend line's been taken. Yeah, I don't see much in the way of the downside, but I do see stuff on the upside. So maybe that's a bit of a tell, unless it wants to come and mitigate some of this. But there's unmitigated zones up here, like equal highs, mini trend lines. So yeah, I'm thinking bullish, started to turn bullish, but obviously I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% convinced either. So that's that anyway. obviously that's my main system. I'm going to look at USD CHF because I was trying to sell this in the week. Um, I'm going to talk a bit about structure as well. Obviously, please chip in, guys, if there's anything you want me to stop and try and explain more about it. So, like, if it is firing questions in the chat or turn your mics on or whatever. So I was trying to sell USD CHF from pretty much May. Obviously, I missed this by about half an hour. This is the same system as of what I've just gone over, but sort of like I say, I'm trading a little bit differently nowadays. I'm sort of more focused on the smaller stuff because of my life at the minute and time abilities and things like that. So if we if I zoom out, um, obviously we see. So we've got this. This is a structure. As a major structure. So still, and then something like that. So now we're obviously in this sort of area. So it might just be pulling back before it continues down, or it might be reversing. But so that's obviously the higher time frame. Obviously, major structure. That'll probably be weekly for a lot of people. So I'm just reading Stephen's question. When you have four touches in the zone, do you think it might not buy and could sell? Four touches in
You want
what
me?
zone? Sorry,
So, um, what was your time? What time frame are you on now? Sorry, daily.
daily, mate.
Might
Yeah,
might have been on your 4 hour time zone,
yeah,
time frame. Sorry, and there was like I think there was about four or five kind of like there you go. Yeah. So if you go kind of like that one there, so like your first touch there, then
yeah,
obviously it's come up like reverse, come back down,
yeah,
reverse, come back down, reverse. So yeah, you've got about 4 or 5 sort of
yeah.
uh retries in that area. Do you not think that sometimes it might carry on selling, or do you think that's more of a like something that it will obviously reverse?
Yeah. So the important one, obviously, this one here. I mean, I'll go and check back in a minute, but what I imagine is there's an imbalance in this zone here that it fills, gets a reaction, or takes a trend line or something like that. There'll be a reason why this sort of like pulls back from there, and then obviously I would say price was always aiming for something lower in the zone, so like a lower imbalance or trend line or something like that. Um, there might even this might even be part of a trend line here sort of thing, and then obviously this sweeps it. It will fill an imbalance, I'm sure, and then but for me, so the important one is the lowest one in the zone. So obviously that this one here touches the zone, doesn't doesn't break here. It tests the 15-minute high for me, this line. It wicks above it, but it doesn't body close. So obviously how I see it is I like body closes above. So pardon me. So obviously creates a new low, takes out this, fails to take the high, creates a new lower low, then it takes the high, so it then puts in a new higher high, obviously because it closes above this this high here. So that's what I'll have to. So this will be how I sort of view the 15-minute structure. So go away, keep doing that. Don't know what I'm doing. So obviously price comes down from here, creates a low, higher, no, lower high, yeah, lower high, lower low, doesn't take it. So this is still the valid high and low at the minute because this one doesn't do anything. Obviously, it wicks above it, but then so it's this is effectively a lower high because it then goes on to break and make a new lower low. Then it breaks the high, so we get a change of character above there. So this is, I mean, it's technically sort of Wyckoff, I'm guessing, mate. You know, this is possibly
Accumulation, I think you mean, don't you?
well,
Yeah.
well, UTAD, I think, is it up UTAD or I can't remember which phase it is, mate. But if you look at the Wyckoff patterns, mate, there's usually a sweep, which is
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
which is usually like if you're looking for buys, it's usually the lowest point before it starts moving up. And obviously for sells, it's the opposite. I can't remember the name. I think UTAD is for sells, and this is the reverse of that. So creates a new lower low, breaks the high. So we've got to change a character, break a structure, whatever you want to call it, above this high here. And now obviously it's forming a higher low, higher highs. If that makes sense.
I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
I
might need to
understand.
play that back a couple of times. I'm sure I got that right.
Yeah.
But
No, I
it's
understand what you
always
mean.
it's always a pain, you know, when you start switching from higher highs, higher lows to lower highs,
Yeah,
lower
yeah.
lows, or you know,
It was just because there was like so many kind of like it was just going sideways in that area, and it's like, well,
yeah,
is it going to carry on going down, or is it actually going to start reversing at that point? If you know what
yeah.
I mean?
Well, I mean, obviously, so what I've drawn here, obviously, this is how I view my 15-minute structure because obviously I've got an orange line on this, so this is the 15-minute structure. This will be, say, my 4 hour structure up here. So you've got multiple different time frame structures running. So this will be like daily or weekly, which is built up of the 4 hour, which is built up of the 15-minute. So obviously the highest time frames is believed to be the strongest, the overall. So technically this might continue down and make a low and then pull back. So it might this leg that's pulling up now might be just a slight pullback on the weekly or daily or something. But if it does that, comes down, makes a new lower low from this higher time frame structure, then it could well pull back after that to up here somewhere, and then before selling up to create a new lower low. But obviously that will take weeks and months to do that higher time frame swings. So if we go from this low to this high, that's 125 days for a downtrended market to create a pullback in effect. So obviously you've got because you have multiple time frames running alongside each other. And I think this is a perfect example up here as well. I did do a post on it, I believe, but obviously you've got this big higher time frame structure, and then you have this sort of like the hourly or 15 minutes sort of like doing it, and then you get like a little breaker structure under here. So you start to see the 15 in here runs perfectly with the higher time frame. So obviously, because this pulls back into high into this higher lower high. Sorry, Jesus Christ, that was wrong with me. Yeah, because this pulls high up into this lower high. So obviously, in a downtrending sort of market, if we then start getting the 15-minute breaks and the 1 minute breaks high up here, then obviously you're potentially left with a monster move if you catch a tight entry, which obviously if you see that, obviously I marked this up uh, end of May basically. So a long time ago, and I would never hold that long. I don't think anyway. I'd shit my pants. But
That's a hell of a long trade as well, isn't it?
but but when I
End of
was
May.
but when because I think we spoke about this actually in the group. So I said obviously there's targets, all these targets that I think it's going to hit, and
Yeah,
the higher time frame is due to make a possible new lower low.
yeah,
And
yeah,
obviously it's got pretty damn close, and it's done that. And obviously I mean the risk to reward on that would have been 350 odd with a tight entry
oh
there,
my, oh
you
my
know.
days.
So
Oh, two pips, fucking hell.
yeah, well the actual zone that I marked up, mate, was 3 pipettes, I think, and it literally taps it perfectly. But that goes back to obviously the importance of imbalance, especially on the seconds time frames. But whether you guys decide to involve that or not is up to you. It works for me. Um, and if you do decide you want to do it and how you use it is up to you. So maybe, I mean, if you do adopt it into your trading, maybe you would say like you'll set your entry at the imbalance fill, but you'll keep your stop loss exactly where you would have if you were looking at on say the 1, 3, or 5 minute or whatever. Do you know? Like your stop loss should always be the point where you would be happy to call the trade a loser anyway and just not drag it out. But obviously you can use the seconds to move your entry closer to where your stop loss would be, sort of thing. But your stop loss should stay where it is at the point where you would be happy to take the loss, sort of thing. Um, but yeah, obviously, like I say, you get multiple structures on this, and then if you low system reason. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
hear you. Yeah, all
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I've just got a notification saying about sound. That's all. Um, so yeah, I mean, I believe structures is of massive importance anyway. Obviously, like anything in trading, it's not everything. Obviously, you can't just use structure because structures can change as well, and you have, like I say, you have different time frame structures running alongside. Um, but it's definitely a positive if you're gonna sort of like add it to your arsenal of things that you're gonna look for to take to sort of like to gauge what that directions and things like that. So obviously, I'll get to the point of what I was actually come on to USD CHF for. Um, so if we sort of assume we're thinking of new lower lows on the higher time frame, obviously we start getting to the lower structures here. So obviously you've got this sort of like running down here, new lower lows, sort of thing like that. So I was trying to sell this because obviously we've got possibly something like this that might form because I believe it's a downtrending market. So obviously price come high up into this leg. It looks like a nice sort of POI NOA. Obviously, it's a decent push here, and then there's a decent push down here, and it takes a low. So somewhere up here, up high would have been ideal for to at least keep your eye on, sort of thing. So as I'll just drop down a minute. So this is back to how I'm sort of trading at the minute. So I think that's the one. I'll just show you this imbalance here. So let me go to it. So I had this imbalance marked this week. I can't remember what day it was, Thursday or Friday. Decent little candle here. See that nice big push. Causes a break below this low here. I can't remember if it does anything else. Well, this is responsible for somewhere up here is responsible for this being broken. So if we jump across now, I didn't take this because of spread. It was close to spreads, but I was having a gander earlier and I realized that I was just a bit impatient. So this imbalance here that we were just looking at is, I would say it's filled. Obviously, if it gets that close, I'm going to say it's filled because obviously I'd have marked it on, say, the 15 or 5 second or whatever. It's not important, but it fills the imbalance, and then it starts to show break-ins to the downside. So we start breaking below this. That's spread hour, and but this. So obviously, as soon as it starts breaking below them, I'm looking for an entry. The higher up, highest up imbalance. So I looking for these. So 15 second again. We do have what's crap on there. So we've got this nice push down here. That was one that I marked. There'll be something in here that I see. I don't know if I've moved this or not. Must have moved that. But anyway, obviously I set my pending at that for whatever reason. I can't even find it now. Can't see it. But what I did is oh God, didn't do that. I completely missed this up here. So this candle here. Yeah, I missed that. So obviously I said I didn't take it because it was close to spread hour. Obviously this one here. So this hit at 8-ish, what I had marked anyway. But if I'd have just been that bit patient and noticed this one at the very top, obviously the following day at 8:30 in the morning, because obviously my pending then would have been something like that. And then obviously I thought it was going to aim at least for this imbalance fill here. Haven't quite made it yet, but 1 to 11 reached at least, so it wouldn't have been a bad trade. But like I say, I messed up myself. Lack of attention, but there's not to worry. There's plenty more. Like I say, I think it's going to aim lower. There's imbalances here as well. Nice ones down. This one here. Liquidity is under here. Imbalance fills here. So yeah, this could well be aiming for a new lower low. Obviously imbalance. Equal lows. But the only other thing that would have put me off for a big hold as well is the fact that this gave an entry on my main system. So this is showing me that we've had breaks to the upside. 50 break above on the 15, break above on the 1. So this is a pivotal point of the USD CHF for me. I think if it breaks above here, then we very much could see this turnaround. Definitely if it breaks above here anyway, I think it will be. Well, I mean, that's a way off. Yeah, is there any questions, guys? No? I will flick on charts for 5-10 minutes then. So This would have been a nice one to have taken. Not a trend line. Not happy with that. I'm very fussy about my trend lines as well, guys. The yeah, if they're not pretty much pinpoint perfect, I'm not interested. Oh, got a question. Yes, I am watching Bitcoin, mate. Yes, I am. Bear with me a second. I'll get to it. Maybe a trend line, maybe not. Not too happy about that one. Yes, mate. I was watching it over the weekend. So, I mean, I marked this zone up a long time ago. July. So, yeah, I mean, I had an entry up here marked and it just went without me. So, I'll definitely keep an eye on here. I did have entry zones marked, but yeah, I mean, it's been that long. I think I'm at least gonna wait for a break of structure again.
What's your oh shit, sorry, my TV. What's your alert level on there? Because
Uh,
I've got an alert level set as well.
I think it's just before some imbalances, mate. So
No way,
yeah,
hang on a minute. So I've got an imbalance of like 68914.55, and I've also got an alert set at 69214.7.
214. Yeah, just below mine, mate. That one.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, but if this hasn't played out already, like
Mhm.
obviously you know that I wanted to hit my 15-minute zone, 1 minute break of
Yeah,
structure, entry,
yeah,
sell off.
yeah,
Pretty sure this just sold off without coming back for the entry.
yeah,
Um, so the entry might still be there, but it's been and done a lot since then. So it could have taken all the targets for the sell already. So it might have moved on to its next objective. But obviously this is where I had my 1 minute break of structure marked. It just didn't seem to come back. It might well have been that quick. So that order block there, break causes the break, mitigates this. That might have been the actual entry. Um, I'll drop down the time frame just to make that a bit clearer, I guess. Possibly, I might make it worse. Who knows? But I mean, you can see that imbalance fill there. This is why I've got a marked imbalance fill here. Um, so yeah, I'll definitely be watching around this area, mate. See what that looks like on the lower. Yeah, I mean, if so, obviously this green box here, obviously this is your first bit of imbalance, and then that's the break as well. So, like I said, this might well have been the correct entry, but it happened so quick. Um, I'd have been at work as well, so like I wouldn't have got me late till at least around here, and then obviously that's if I could see it straight away. So that might have been the entry, mate. It's a tricky one, but yeah, like I said, I'll definitely be waiting for these imbalances, and if I get a if I get a filled one of these filled and then a breaker structure, mate, I'll be taking the sell. I was also
it does look as though it wants to sell as well, doesn't it?
yeah. So I mean, when I first took over the supply section,
Yeah.
I actually predicted this was going to hit this little zone here, and it was. I mean, price was up here.
August. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think it was, and like early August I took over, so I pretty much predicted this move into this zone here. And obviously this is the structure, so we are still technically 4 hour bearish. I mean, this might just fill an imbalance in here and then create a new lower low. You know, obviously there's this trend line here to target. I'll just draw that structure so you can see it. Take my magnet off. We got that. So obviously high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we could well see a lower high being created. It will be this week, I imagine, with it being that high. So we could really start to see a new low low. I'm not sure. I'd have to spend a bit more time now looking at trend lines and things because
Yeah,
we could well see.
a big push down, but we just don't know.
I mean, that looks like a trend line there, so
Mm.
I'll just delete it so you can see it because that probably looks a mess to you. Because obviously, what the market will do is it will create liquidity and trend lines and things. Yeah, so you bang on perfect trend line there. So, but that could sweep that into the entry and then sell off, or it might
Yeah,
use it to break the high and then create a new
funny
break of
enough, I
structure.
was thinking about that high as well, to be honest.
Yeah. So I mean, this is an important point in the market for Bitcoin. So
Yeah,
if it uses that trend line to create a new breaker structure and a new higher high, then obviously it's turning bullish again. But that doesn't mean it's not going to then come back down here as well. I mean, it might do that, create a new higher high. It then might come and mitigate somewhere down in here before creating a high again. So obviously, when you get into higher time frame structures, like even the pull, if obviously this is downtrending at the minute as such, but I mean this is still a massive sell, do you know?
well, yeah,
So
because you have a look at, I think, was it August? No, you see that high that's right there in the middle next to that one,
yeah,
and then from that to drop all the way down. What's that? 4 hours. That's about 3 days,
uh,
maybe a week, possibly.
so yeah, a week, mate, yeah,
Wow.
about a week,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
And
that's what I mean.
I think I called this as well, mate. I think
Mm.
I want trading it, but I'm sure I posted about it saying, well, this is just showing myself that it might sell off.
Mm.
And then that's exactly
Yeah,
what it did.
that might have been when we was all trading the Bitcoin back then.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
only how much that dropped in a week. That's some serious
yeah, yeah,
money there.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then it's just been slowly. To be honest, like when you're looking at it, it is going up and down, obviously, but it's still very sideways
yeah, yeah,
in that sort of area. Now it's pushed up. Yeah, it's either going to break that high or it is going to
yeah.
just suddenly just come down from there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I say, I genuinely believe there's a pivotal moment for Bitcoin, mate.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what it does here is
we'll
like
see.
which we will probably decide which way it's
Yeah,
going. So,
100%.
like I say, if it takes the high, I'm saying it's bullish. If it doesn't, it's staying
It's
bearish.
bearish.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah. No, nice one. Thanks for that, Lee.
no worries, mate. It's a difficult one as well because there's trend line. Oh no, sorry, that one's been taken. Sorry, this one here. So there's liquidity there, there's liquidity here. You know, I mean, but there's like imbalances here to be filled possibly, but there's no time limit on any of it as well, do you know? So with there being
Yeah, yeah,
targets both sides of the market, I mean, it might take neither, you know, for a long time. It might take both. It's just, yeah, I mean, that's what it means when you can only trade what's in front of you. So in front of
yeah,
us at the minute is downtrending market and it's hitting very high into the previous
I think it is
red leg.
literally
So
it's about to go either way, obviously. But I mean, we all know that. But it is literally at the moment currently where it is either going to go up or down. I
yeah,
think.
absolutely, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just while we are on Bitcoin as well, so obviously I'm looking for imbalance fills on like the 1 minute and thing at the minute. That's sort of how I'm trading at the minute. This works very well on Bitcoin as well. So so I'll just go to the 5 so I can see where I'm at. So this this obviously this sort of zone here is responsible for breaking these highs here. So order block created in there, break above here, comes back, mitigates, break the structure. So this will just be like a lower time frame point of interest. I'll change that color. Does that make sense to you, mate? For what I'm looking at. So this you can see a wick down wick as well. Big down wick here, responsible for causing a break above the previous high. Yeah, this high here. This is the cause of it. Comes back.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. This is pretty much all I'm trading at the minute. Like I say, like somewhere in here causes this break. I've just said that 4 times, obviously, just to make sure you're all listening. Causes the break. Price comes back. So I'm on the 5 minute at the minute, but it then causes a 1 minute break up here, causes a break again, leaves an imbalance, mitigates the imbalance, buys up. Even I mean that'd be plenty of for alpha spreads. This was early hours this morning, so and then obviously it's targeted these imbalances in here. Yeah, targets that. Pretty much perfectly it's reacted out of it. But 14 to 1 on a Sunday would have been nice. Obviously we had from the break here, so I mean it was late last night that it broke, so I was trying to keep my eye on it a little bit, but I mean I've been at work all weekend, so took my eye off the ball. But it works on every chart. It seems to. I've not seen one that it hasn't worked on. Obviously, I've not looked at them all, but you know. But I mean, if there's not any more questions after that, guys, I'll call it a day there. So if you've got anything,
Thanks, mate.
no worries, mate. If there's anyone, quick chuck them in the chat or speak up.
I'm going to disappear, but no, thank you very much. Yeah, bud.
No worries, mate. I'll speak to you in the group, boys. All right.